Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into the X Button Gaming channel. What I was going to do in this video is go over the games that I played in 2025. I beat most of these. I beat almost all of them. I think there's only one exception here. This isn't like a game of the year list. It's just talking about what I played, what I thought about them. And I'll try to go quick with most of them so that this video isn't crazy long. But I just thought it'd be fun to share some of my thoughts on some of these different games. So let's go ahead and get started with the first game, which for whatever reason I couldn't find like a great image for this game, but it's Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This game was on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, and it's been put on at least PlayStation Plus Premium, so you can play like the PS2 version with trophy support. And I'd never played this game. I love Star Wars. I think most people that know me know that I love Star Wars. And I remember when it came out when I was a kid, I wanted it, but you only got a couple games a year, so you had to be picky, and I guess this wasn't on the top of the list of things I felt like I needed to bug my parents for, so I never played it. And this year I finally sat down and played through it. I think I beat it in like 2 sittings, and honestly, I'm putting this game in the D tier because as far as Star Wars games go, it is not a must play. It's not even a should play or eventually play. This is I mean, as somebody who loves Star Wars, I don't regret playing it, but I don't know who I'd recommend it to. It's kind of janky. The level design, it's basically all in Geonosis, so even though as a planet it's cool, the Geonosians are cool, but it looks very bland when transitioned to a early 2000s game. And it just didn't, I don't know, it wasn't that great. The levels where you're on foot did not control well at all. It was very janky, and frankly, I know that some of this is probably none of it's canon, but it's supposed to be like some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that happened, during the beginning of the Clone Wars, after Episode 2, and during maybe some of the events leading up to the Battle of Geonosis, and it just forgettable. I don't even remember half of what I did. So yeah, it's definitely not a game I'll probably ever play again as far as Star Wars games go. I don't know who I'd recommend it to. And also, that brings me back. I got ahead of myself. But as far as this list goes, S is going to be like my top tier games. I don't believe too many games on this list will make it into S, because I kind of view that as like these games are probably like in my top games of all time. Maybe not top 10, but these are pushing like top 20, top 30. Like, this is a game that I absolutely love. And then D being like, I'll probably never play it again. I have no idea who I'd recommend it to, or very niche, or just was not for me, and I did not like it at all. So yeah, and then B is kind of, you're perfectly like right in the middle. I liked it. I might play it again. Lots of people might like it, but anyway, you get the picture. All right, next was Crow Country, my bad. I played this probably in November. It's a third-person horror game. I don't know if horror is the right term. It's definitely built to be in the same vein of like the early Resident Evil games, where you have your inventory management. You have to be careful with how much you got to manage your heals and your bullet inventory. And then even when you go into the pause menu, your health bar is the like the heartbeat, good, fair, bad, to tell how close you are to dying. And the whole point of the game is you're a reporter, and you get to this, you're going to this theme park because you've been hearing all these things that have happened there, and you want to look into it more. And obviously the story gets a little deeper as it goes on, but it's pretty cool. There's different areas themed after different kind of general theme park concepts. You have your horror area, there's like a piratey area, then you get into the underground like laboratory areas and stuff. And yeah, it was pretty good. I played through it and then immediately played through it again to clean up some of the trophies for the platinum. It's a game I really liked because I really enjoy the original Resident Evil, both the remake on GameCube and in its original form. And I liked that this kind of was a callback to that. And the story was good, gameplay was fine. There was a little bit of puzzle aspects in certain areas, and some of them were harder to figure out than others, but overall it was a good game. All right, next was Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Just going to be honest, I'm going to put this in the D tier. I'll put it above Clone Wars. I bought this game a few years ago because I ran into a GameStop and they had the Steelbook, and it was like $10 to maybe $15. And I loved Dark Alliance on PS2. Just disclaimer, I'm not a huge Dungeons and Dragons guy. I don't know a ton about the lore of the worlds or anything. But I played Baldur's Gate on GameCube. I played me and my friends played Dark Alliance. What am I thinking? Champions of Norath. We played Champions of Norath and its sequel on PS2. So I really like the kind of games they are, and obviously like the fantasy world I find to be intriguing. So this game I bought in a whim because I liked those games. I had read that they didn't have the local co-op, it was just online, and that the game itself wasn't very good. And it sat on my shelf for a while. And then when I heard that they were turning off the online servers, I kind of was like, okay, I need to get to this soon so that I can actually play the game how it's intended, and potentially as a trophy collector too, get the platinum for it. So me and my friend, who I'll mention a couple times here, because a few of these games on this list we played together, my friend Keldrick, we picked it up and we both started playing it. And at first it was like, wow, this is actually pretty fun. You have 4 characters you can play as. Grist is the character that I recognize. I think is there 3 characters? No, there's 4. Whatever. I don't remember now. I played this game at the beginning of the year. But each of them have their own, like different abilities and, some stealthy, heavier attacks, stuff like that. Yeah, it quickly starts to weigh on you because it's not very intuitive. The AI will just start wailing on you sometimes and just do incredibly unfair, cheap things. And overall, it's just very repetitive. The level design, it gets very, after the first couple levels, like it starts to look very samey and not a lot of unique views going on. Honestly, my favorite part about this game was obvious. Like playing with my friend was fun, but when we needed to get a couple of specific trophies, so I had to go on Reddit and find other people that were playing it, and I found it, and we're able to match up with a few other guys that were looking to get some of the same trophies that we were. And then so yeah, we started playing it together in a group with these two new people I'd never talked to before, and ended up making for a fun experience. And it's not something that I do very often because I don't mind playing online. I like playing online, but I like to play with people I know. Like I've always been weird about that. Like I don't really want to just hop on chat with somebody I don't know and start talking. But that made for this game being a much more fun experience than it would have been. Overall, it doesn't change the game. The game itself isn't great. That experience that I had in it made it more fun. But as of now, the servers are down, and what is definitely a game that was made to be multiplayer and was only fun because it was multiplayer is now a single player only game, and I don't recommend it. There's way better hack and slash dungeon crawler games than this out there, and that you can actually play with friends. So this game is dead. And obviously if you're a D&D fan and you want if this game has its own specific lore, maybe you'd want to play because of that, but otherwise it's a skip. All right, Final Fantasy VI. So I love Final Fantasy. It's one of my favorite series. I've played every game in the series with 2 exceptions. Played and beat every game in the series with 2 exceptions. And for years, that was 6 and 13. Actually, 3 exceptions. I've never finished 12. But 6 was that was my gaming sin. I very much so consider it one of my gaming sins because I loved Final Fantasy. I love RPGs. I love JRPGs. And I've known for years that this is a lot of people's favorite Final Fantasy, including one of my good friends, Darren, and he would give me a hard time for years because I say I love Final Fantasy and I hadn't played 6. So my main goal for 2025, I was to start the year off by starting it, and sure enough, the first day I started playing it, I beat it in a short, couple weeks maybe. And yeah, this game holds up. It's honestly just as good as everybody says it is. The music is fantastic. I mean, spoiler territory is kind of funny, but I know people that listen to the podcast and come on this channel haven't played all the Final Fantasies, so I will not spoil it. But there is a really cool, especially for the time, pretty big event that happens in the game that changes how the game unfolds going forward. And it's a very good story. I wish I'd played it 20 years ago when I was, at this point, 25 years ago when I was going through the series originally. And I did try to play it on an emulator when I was a kid. I had, what was that SNES emulator everybody had, whatever. I had it on there, but when you get to one of the early fights, the emulator I was using, it didn't allow you to do button combos of more than 2 buttons at a time, and I had to do more than that, and I couldn't get past it. So for years, the game eluded me. And then when the Pixel collection came out, I was like, I bought it at the end of last year when they did the second launch, and I was like, okay, this is gonna happen.
It is time.
Did it, loved it. And as far as Final Fantasies go, it's up there. It's probably my third personal favorite Final Fantasy, but yeah, definitely wish I would have played it years ago. All right, next game, Forged in Shadow Torch, otherwise known as Fist. This game is a Metroidvania where you play as a robotic rabbit, not unlike Rabot from the Sonic the Hedgehog animated series from the mid-90s. Yeah, this game was fun. Very good Metroidvania. It's a cool world, steampunky, but it's with animals instead of any kind of humans. Exploration was really good. Mobility was really good. When I think of Metroidvanias or 2D platformers, obviously the way it controls the mobility is one of the best things, and then exploration. And this game nailed both. Ambiance was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a game I would definitely play again, and highly recommend to anybody looking for a good Metroidvania. All right, Star Wars Demolition. Unlike the icon here, I did not play this on Dreamcast. I played it on PlayStation Premium, just like I did with Star Wars Clone Wars. It was a PS1 game that also had a Dreamcast port, and it's basically Twisted Metal. I think it was done by the team that did Vigilante 8. But instead of obviously unique characters, you play as Star Wars characters. You have an ATST, you got Boba Fett in a Slave One, you got a battle droid on a staff unit. Oh no, Boba Fett's not. He's like the Mr. Grimm. He's not in his ship. He's just flying around with his jetpack and a handful of other vehicles. I don't remember. There's a Rancor that you unlock at one point. But I love the concept. I remember renting this game when I was a kid and really enjoying it. Replaying it this year and really playing through it. I did everything. It's not as good as I remember. It's still something I'd probably play again at some point. I don't own it. I would like to own it on probably Dreamcast specifically, just because of the 4-player support. Just because it would be fun to pop in on occasion, especially around May the 4th every year. I always like to do something Star Wars related. It'd be fun to have people over and play it a bit. But yeah, no, for everybody, if you're looking for a car combat game, definitely it's better just to play Twisted Metal Black or one of the Vigilante 8 games. All right, Operation Tango. I think I'm going to put this game in B tier. So this is a 2-player puzzle game, I guess. So this game only works if you're playing on chat with somebody. I mean, theoretically, you could play it online and not be on chat, but it would be a lot harder to communicate. The concept is one person is basically the infiltrator, spy type person. Another one is the hacker. So one person's going into the building and you are relaying information back to the hacker, and they're figuring things, helping you figure things out. So if you need to get into a door, you tell them like this door has this and this, and they look through all the screens they have and they say, okay, well, I can go into this panel and I can hack the door, get it open for you. And then like they'll turn off security cameras, and basically they help the one person get through, and you do other things to help them move along too. Yeah, it was a fun game. It's kind of a one and done type thing. You can play it twice in theory, because one person, like I said, plays the hacker, the other person plays the spy, and then you can swap and play through it the other way. But other than that, like, it's not a game I see going through again anytime soon. Or if you do, it'd have to be with a new person. But that would only really work if you're forgetful, if you're somebody who doesn't remember everything too easily, because once you kind of know everything, all the puzzles and everything, it's not as fun. It's not going to be as fun for the person playing with you because they're figuring the game out, but you already know everything. But it is a definitely enjoyable experience for the first time you play it. All right, Grease. I played this game just a few months ago. Beautiful game, great ambiance. Music was very nice. Otherwise, I just thought it was okay. It's short, but definitely one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. The watercolor, the way the watercolor builds as you unlock or you finish levels, and it kind of grows and colors out more of the world is very, very appealing. But it's I didn't like it as much as a lot of people did, but that doesn't mean I don't agree that it's a fantastic game, and I understand why people would love it. Overall, for me, I just thought it was, as far as the gameplay wise, I just thought it was okay, but definitely one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. All right, Owlboy. So this is a 2D platformer with some shoot 'em up. No, it's a 2D platformer. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So you play as the titular Owlboy, and you can fly, and you have no abilities on your own. But then I don't remember what your buddy's name is. But you have 3 different characters that you can work with as the game progresses, and each one of them has a different weapon, and you carry them and use them to like shoot and do damage and stuff as you're playing around. This game it's not the first. This year wasn't the first time I played it. I played it on Switch when it came out, probably in like 2017. I loved it then. I loved it now. It's like 16-bit art style is so well done. The fact that you can really see like the emotion in the characters' faces, even in that 16-bit style, is super cool. Which is not uncommon because obviously Super Nintendo games, you could see it like Chrono Trigger and stuff. But they definitely did a fantastic job with it, and it's a fun game, surprisingly emotional, like very deep story with some very. I mean, it gets pretty deep. And yeah, I very much so enjoy this game. Like I said, it's not the first time I played it, and I'll probably play it again at some point. It's probably above this for me in the A tier. Rayman Origins, awesome 2D platformer. I'd played a little bit of it, but this year I played through it from start to finish on my Vita. It's also A tier, probably just behind Fist. I loved this game. I think it would have been more fun to play it on a console and play it multiplayer, like New Super Mario Brothers, but it's not how I played it. But I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the challenges. I did everything, got the platinum trophy, and had a good time. Obviously, a good 2D platformer will challenge you, and you will find yourself frustrated at times. But at the end of the day, it's always achievable. You just have to get better, and this game really nailed that. And so, yeah, I absolutely enjoyed it. Silk Song. So I really enjoyed Silk Song. Obviously, like anybody, I would assume anybody else who played it this year, I'd played Hollow Knight. I loved Hollow Knight. I love Metroidvanias, and obviously Hollow Knight was a fantastic one with a very steep difficulty curve, I guess, when it came to learning attack patterns and everything. And Silk Song took that and dialed it up a notch, and it honestly just improved on everything that Hollow Knight did. Fantastic world building. This is a huge game. It's like, I want to say, obviously you can beat it quicker without a doubt, but when you're kind of exploring at a leisurely pace and trying to figure everything out, not using guides or anything, I think it took me around 55 hours to beat it, and it was probably about 50 hours that I beat it, the A storyline, and then about another 15 hours to beat the B storyline. So probably around 65 hours. It was a long game. And it only started to overstay its welcome at the end. Okay, let me rephrase that. I only started to kind of get to the point where I was like, okay, I'm ready to move on. In the B portion of the game, towards the end of it, I was starting to struggle with a couple of bosses, and I was like, I'm ready for this to be done. But I powered through, and I finished it. And yeah, it's a must play. It's hard to say. As I think about it more as time goes on, this might change. But I think as of right now, it's going to the top of A. I'm actually moving Final Fantasy VI into S tier. I do believe it's a must play. It's a game that I would love to own physically on Super Nintendo, and it's a game that I will play again, probably in the near future even. But Silk Song it's fantastic in every way. It was worth the wait. And oh my gosh, the music in that game is fantastic. Okay, Suikoden HD, The Great Rune Wars. So this is Suikoden 1 and 2. Oh, come on. For me, Suikoden is my personal favorite RPG series of all time. I love the series, absolutely adore them, and I hadn't played through them in a while. Ooh, geez, probably at least 20 years since I played through any of them, including one or two. So this remaster was very timely. I was excited to play through them again, and man, I was pleasantly surprised because as time goes on, sometimes things that once were your favorite don't always hold up as well as you remembered them, and that can be very depressing. When for years I've said Suikoden is one of my favorite RPG series, but playing through them again, one I loved even more than I remembered. I didn't have one ranked super high in the list of the Suikoden games, but man, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a nice short JRPG with really good character building. The 108 Stars of Destiny, the whole concept is fantastic. It's just a really good game. And then two takes everything that one does up a notch and has one of the best stories in any video game ever, with one of the best villains in any video game ever. If you know, you know. It's fantastic. I love these games. I was so happy to play them, and they held up just as much as I remembered 20 years later, because not only has it been 20 years, that's a long time. I'm a lot older now. I was 18, I'm 38 now. I mean, geez. But I was so happy that I loved them just as much. And I sat through and I played through both of them and really enjoyed it over the course of like a week and a half. And I remember I played through both of these games multiple times back when I was a teenager, and I remembered a lot of it. And I was able to do it. I did use a guide a little bit to help me with a few reminders, but because I'd finished the games before, I didn't feel like it was cheating. I was just trying to finish it. I wanted to get the platinum and be one of the first people on PSN profiles to do it. Or if you're one of the first 50 people, your name is on that list pretty much forever. And I made it. I was super happy. Only time it's ever been done for me, and only time that I'll probably ever do it. But yeah, I love these games. High recommend. Some people might find the first game a little boring if you're not super into JRPGs, or you're used to more modern JRPGs that move a little quicker. But I feel like the second game, it's still one of the best games of all time, one of the best JRPGs of all time. All right, Sword of the Sea. I'm going to put this bottom of B tier. Much like Greece, a very very beautiful game. You basically, so it's made by the same team that did Journey and Flow and Flower and those games. And you play, basically you're moving on your sword almost like it's a skateboard or a surfboard, and you're moving through different environments, and it looks very pretty. It controls pretty well. Not a super long game. I think I beat it in 2 sittings. I enjoyed it. It's on PlayStation Plus if you feel like you want to play it on the extra tier. And that's about it. It's one I might go back to in the future, but Hat in Time, 3D platformer akin to Super Mario, not Super Mario, Mario 64, Super Mario 64, yeah, or Banjo Kazooie, because it's a collectathon. I enjoyed it. I don't feel like talking about it more than that. It's a good game. Arcade Paradise. I'm putting this game in the bottom of A tier. I really like this game. Basically, you get a laundromat. It has a small arcade in the back, and you start, as you make money from the laundromat, you start growing the arcade. Eventually, the arcade grows and grows and gets bigger than the laundromat and takes over the laundromat. There's a little bit of story in it, and this is the late '80s, I think, is when it's supposed to be taking place, and the story's okay, but overall, what makes this game really cool is one, the management. I like a good management sim, and the laundromat arcade management was fun. Like, I enjoyed that aspect of it. But the cool thing is each arcade game is its own unique game. Most of them are parodies of another game that's been made. Not parodies, I mean, like different versions of a newer game, of a game that already exists, like Pole Position, or like man, now I don't remember. I beat this game at the beginning of the year, but anyway, really, I like that concept a lot. It was fun to play all these different arcade games. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I played it from beginning to end and enjoyed every minute of it. FBC Firebreak. So for those that aren't familiar with it, this takes place in the Control universe, Control, Alan Wake. But it is their take on like a multiplayer extraction shooter mission. I don't know what kind of shooter it is, but long story short, this was free on PlayStation Plus in June or July. Me and my friend played it. At the time, there was only 4 missions, and it just like it was fun. Like at first, it was fun, but by the time you're done with all the missions and you run them a handful of times, it's kind of like, okay, like I guess I can buy some outfits. It just ran out of stuff to do, and it felt a little cash grabby. I expected more because frankly, the Control and Alan Wake, those games are so good and so deep with their storytelling. And I knew this was a multiplayer game, so I didn't expect as much story. And it's true, like there is some really cool villain or cool enemy variety. Okay, that's not even true. Some of the enemies that are there are really cool, but there isn't a lot of variety. Yeah, the coolest thing is the post-it note enemies. But anyway, this game is not a must play. I think it was kind of a flop for them. I feel like if they figured out long term how to add content and make you want to come back to it, it has potential. But as of this time that I'm writing this, I haven't played it since July when we finished everything that was there to offer, and there was no reason to keep playing as far as I was concerned. We did everything. Platinum trophy unlocked. There was no other content in the game to do. So yeah, not great for the kind of game that they want it to be a game you're coming back for. Kaze and the Wild Masks. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put the bottom of B. It's a platformer, 2D platformer. You play as you're like a rabbit. You get some different power ups. It's kind of generic, but it was all right. It was fun. I just played through it. I don't know, a few months ago. I don't have much else to say about it. Klonoa 2, I don't remember what this is called, actually. I think that's wrong. Anyway, Klonoa 2, it's on the Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online. I kind of played it passively, just because I hadn't been playing my Switch too much, and I wanted to be on it. It was all right. If I had this game as a kid on my Game Boy Advance, I would have loved it. As an adult, going back to it, not having grown up with it, I thought it was okay. It's an expensive Game Boy Advance game, but overall, I don't have too much to say about it. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. Maybe I'll feel differently in the future if I play it again. Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins. Anybody who knows me knows I absolutely love this game. I play through it at least once maybe not every year, but just about. I get the itch to play it. This year I played it on a plane ride from Seattle to Vegas, and that's less than 2 hours, and I beat it well before we landed. So it's not a very long game. I adore this game. I think it's a marvel that it's a Game Boy game. It's just, I don't know. This, Link to the Past, Pokemon, like there's some Game Boy games. Mole Mania too. Mole Mania is fantastic. These are some Game Boy games that these are some of the top tier ones, and I love 6 golden coins. Returnal. Okay, so this game to me, when people say PlayStation 5 has no games, that's not true. There's not a ton of exclusive games on the PS5, and this is not taking into account the fact that some of these games are on PC now, just like straight up exclusives to PS5. You have Spider-Man 2. Even that, like, whatever, there's a handful. But when I think of exclusive PS5 games, Returnal is it. Like, I love a good roguelite, whatever. And this game nails that formula. So Housemarque is the company that made this game. And if you don't know who they are, they also did Super Stardust HD, Resogun, and some other stuff too. But those are the two that come to mind. So they do make games. They're bordering bullet hell because there's a lot of dodging and stuff that you have to do. And Returnal, you have to get really good at dodging. And it's one of those games where the right weapons make it that much easier to finish a playthrough. When this game came out back in 2021, I played it and I enjoyed it, but I didn't like two things about it. One is it felt like it would have really been a great multiplayer game. at least a co-op game, and it wasn't. But that I could have looked past. But the big flaw was that you could not save your game. There was no way to save it. You had to leave your console in rest mode and come back to it. If you wanted to do something else on your PlayStation, you lost it. There's just, you have to finish that run or else it's gone. And sometime after that first couple months, I don't know when, because I didn't play it again for a long time, they fixed both of those complaints. They added a save feature for your current run so that you could come back and continue that run. And they added a co-op feature. And that's how I ended up playing through this game. Me and my friend played through the whole thing co-op. And I absolutely had a blast playing this game. The story is very, very good. It's very sci-fi heavy, but it has like just the right amount of like horror aspects to it. And I really liked that. It's very deep. You have, like most roguelites, you have to be okay with the fact that you're gonna die. You have to die to get better at the game. Yeah, this game to me, it's a must play for the genre. Must play on PS5. I feel like everybody should play it. I absolutely love this game. Rogue Prince of Persia. This was my second foray into the Prince of Persia series, because I played Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, 2 years ago when that came out. Last year, 2024, whatever. And I loved that game. So when this came out, it was on PS Plus Premium. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. I like roguelites. I like Prince of Persia a little bit more now, and it's a 2D platformer. Yeah, loved it. I don't know where. I think I'd put this game above Fist, but below Owlboy. As far as roguelites go, I feel like this is a great entry-level roguelite. It is made by at least some of the team or part of the team or whatever that did Dead Cells. Dead Cells I also really enjoyed, but Dead Cells is hard. This game is not, it is still hard, but it's way easier than Dead Cells. So like if you're looking for a good entry level or just a slightly more laid back roguelite, this is a good place to go. The level designs were good, the power-ups and everything, the skill tree, everything that makes a good roguelite worked in this game, all while being a great 2D platformer. So definitely recommend it. Rugrats Adventures in Gameland. I just played this game. It is like 2 hours long, but it is made to be like an NES game. So they have the more like HD graphics, where everything looks kind of like a hand-drawn episode of Rugrats. But they also have a quick filter you can do where you can quickly change it to 8-bit to make it look like an NES game. And you can also do that with the music. And that is such a cool feature to me, because their concept when they made this game was, what if Rugrats had a game on the NES? Like, in the era when Rugrats came out, it probably would have been a late NES game. And I think they nailed that concept. Pretty easy. If you like Rugrats, I grew up with Rugrats. I have a fondness for the cartoon. So I definitely felt like I wanted to play this. It's worth a play if you like it. But there's not much about this game that stands out as anything other than like the nostalgia grab for being a Rugrats fan. Because everything else about it is just okay. I just really like that concept of them trying to make it like an NES game, and how they had the shifting, how you could shift between the art styles, and that made it cool. All right, Shadow Labyrinth. Okay, so if you guys listened to the podcast episode in, I want to say it was August, when Daily Beating and my friend James were on, where we talked about what we've been playing throughout the summer, you know that I absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally hate Shadow Labyrinth. I have not finished this game. It's the only game on this list I have not finished. I am at the end of the game, and I hate it. It's a Metroidvania, which I love. I thought the concept of it being like having the Pac-Man like universe thrown in there was a really cool concept. It's this game. Silksong is a 60+ hour game, and every minute of it was fun. It only ever stayed its welcome once I started to get tired of it. Again, I wanted to move on. So it didn't, like I said, it didn't really overstay its welcome. I just was ready to move on. Shadow Labyrinth overstayed its welcome at about the 15-hour mark. I was already like, okay, I'm done, but I'm going to power through it because I like to try to finish everything. And God, I think I still played another 30 hours and was still not done. The game is massive in all the wrong ways. The map is just way too big. The characters look like they were made with AI, like they don't look good and whatever. And it is an okay Metroidvania as far as controls go and some of the hidden stuff, but there's way too much hidden stuff. But the worst part, the absolute worst part, and what should have been probably the best part, is the parts where you play as Puck, who is Pac-Man, and you go into this little, this different realm, I guess, where it looks like the grids look like the old Pac-Man look, and you have to jump from wall to wall. It controls like absolute dog water. It is not fun. I hated when they would come up, and I'd have to, and I felt like I needed to finish them. Like, so they made me rage, and I don't rage very often. This is hands down one of my least favorite games of all time. Now, I will say, I almost sold it because I was like, I'm never going to finish this game. I'm never going to play it again. I hate this game. But they did announce that they were releasing an update, and they were going to be fixing some stuff. And one of the things was those Puck levels. And because I can't help myself and I like to finish things, I talked myself out of selling the game and holding on to it, and instead trying, after the update came out, trying to finish it. I haven't done it yet. Maybe with the update, I will have a different opinion. And if I do, I will share that opinion with people so they know. But that being said, as of right now, as the last time I played it, I absolutely hate it. I should probably make an F tier specifically for that game because I don't feel like anybody should ever play it. I chose to play this over Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I think that also made me mad because as I was playing it, I'm like, I'm not having any fun. And Donkey Kong Bonanza, I still haven't finished it. I'm not even halfway through. That's why I didn't put it in the list. But once I finally got to it in the last couple of months, I was like, man, this game is just pure joy. And Shadow Labyrinth is pure not. Anyway, that's enough Shadow Labyrinth. Alien Nation. I'm going to put it at the top of C tier. So this is another Housemarque game. I had no idea this game existed. And like I said, I already was somebody who thought of themselves as a fan of the developer a bit because I loved Super Stardust HD on PS3 and I loved Resogun. It was a launch PS4 game and I absolutely loved it. I played it a ton. And then when Returnal came out, I was excited by the fact that they were doing a roguelite, and I really liked their previous games, and I played that at launch. I had never heard of Alien Nation, and it's like a bit of a dungeon crawler, twin stick dungeon crawler type. In this game, there's a reason I never heard of it. It's not great. It's just okay. The level design's pretty repetitive. It's not a super long game. You can beat the main story in probably 10 hours. It is co-op, so I did play it with my friend Kel, and we played through it and did most everything. But it's kind of a forgettable experience. It's really what it comes down to. It's just okay. All right, next, this was a PS Plus random game that I decided to play. I'm going to put it at the top of... No, I'm going to put it at the bottom at B tier. It's a biped. You can't really read it there. And what it is it is a game where you control a little robot character by moving them with the thumbsticks. So left thumbstick controls their left foot, right thumbstick controls their right foot, and you have to control it. And by your pacing determines how fast they go, how big their strides are, and it's made to also be played co-op. So one person will step on a switch, and the other person will then be able to move through the obstacle, and then they can step on a switch on the other side, and then you can move through. This was a fun game. I enjoyed it. It was fun playing it with my friend Kel because he was terrible at it and he raged quite a bit. I got better at it, but at the beginning he was really bad at it, and it was pretty fun, pretty funny to hear him rage and me being able to make fun of him. But yeah, it was a fun game. It was on PS Plus. I enjoyed it. Touch My Katamari. It was a Vita game. I'm gonna put it in the B tier, probably below Grease. So, fun fact: I've never played a Katamari game before. I love the concept of them. I always thought they looked very fun and very unique. And I got this game on Vita this year. For those that don't know, I'm going for a full Vita set, and I'm attempting to play a lot of it as as the spirit moves me. And I'd wanted to play a Katamari game, so I figured, hey, it's a good place to start. I have it, and everything I've heard is this is one of the lower tier Katamari games, and that I think is a good thing because I enjoyed this game. I thought it was pretty fun. I like the fact that you can use the touchscreen to stretch him out or push him in, or push his Katamari, the Princess Katamari ball in, to make it long or skinny so you can fit into different areas. Yeah, I mean, it's not a very long game. I think it was like 8-10 levels, something like that. Then you have reason to play through them a handful of times. But the fact that a lot of people say this is one of like the bottom tier Katamari games, and I enjoyed it that much, gives me a lot of hope for the future. I just recently bought Katamari Forever for the PS3. I plan on going through that soon to be my excuse me, my next Katamari game. All right, Star Wars Dark Forces HD Remaster. So Dark Forces would be what the kids call these days as a boomer shooter. Cool thing about Dark Forces, I never played it back in the day, but it was one of those games that kind of started. It continued the Star Wars lore. It was the first game to do it. Like, there were some books at this point, but I don't believe there was a game that expanded on the Star Wars universe before this. I could be wrong and just not remembering. I don't remember if the X-Wing games were first, or TIE Fighter, whichever one of those came first. But anyway, this built on it in a very good way by creating the character of Kyle Katarn, who would go on to be very influential in the future games he made and a big character in the expanded universe. And I never played it before. I played the remaster. It was a good time. I love Star Wars. I enjoyed getting, some of the lore, seeing some of these environments that I'd heard about. Seeing where Star Wars first person shooters kind of started and where they've come from. And obviously it's polished up because it's a remaster, but it still has that boomer shooter look to it. I do feel like most Star Wars fans should play this game, and I'm going to put it at the top of B tier. This is my personal list. I believe a lot of people might have that lower, but I really enjoyed it. All right, Abiotic Factor. This game, without a doubt, goes in the S tier for me. Probably just past the Suikoden games. I absolutely adored this game. I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to explain it because I don't know how to, but it is like a first-person survival resource gathering game with horror elements and sci-fi elements, and it goes all over the place. Okay, if you're here, if you've made it this far into the video, it must be because you don't absolutely hate listening to me talk, which is crazy. But just do this. Go watch some videos on Abiotic Factor. It is a fantastic, super fun game. It's made to look like Half-Life on the PC back in the late 90s. It has that late 90s PC look to it. But it is a huge world with so much to do and just such clever writing and so many different hidden areas and stuff to collect and so many different places where you can build theoretical bases, and the enemies are they just have this some of them are terrifying. Some of them have this slight terrifying aspect to them. It's just a fantastic game. It's a high recommend for me. I know it's not going to be for everybody, but I feel like a lot of people should try it. I loved it. It is I didn't play it single player. I played through it with my friend Kelligan and my nephew Connor, and me and Connor especially had an absolute blast playing through this game. We loved every moment of it. We talked about going back to it, and I have every intention of going back to this game because we're supporting it with updates and new content and stuff. And yeah, this game it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Absolutely loved it. As this game is almost top 10 for me. That's how much I love this game. And I wish I could do a better job of explaining it. But if you have PS Plus Premium, if you have Xbox Live, or what's it called? Game Pass. I believe it's on both free or PS Plus Extra, not Premium, or Game Pass. You can play it on either of them. Get a friend and just figure it out. It's a fun game. Watch some YouTube videos if you don't want to play it. It's fantastic. I love it. All right, Cat Quest. So I played through both of these games for the first time this year, and dang, Operation Tango is way too high. Hold on. Operation Tango goes down here, above Kaze. Cat Quest 1 and 2, they're great action RPGs where you play on an overworld map, an actual if you laid down an actual paper map, the world looks like that, but then as you go reach different areas there will be a town where you can interact with certain townsfolk or buildings or dungeons you can go in. And it's a very simple game. It's a great like entry level action RPG for anybody looking for like a pretty entry level type action RPG. Um, and the story is seemingly very simple as well. You're a cat and he's a knight and you're trying to save the kingdom. But then as you move on, there's this layer of depth below the surface that it's actually pretty crazy. And it moves on into the second game. And I hope it moves on into the third game, which I haven't played yet, but it is on PlayStation Plus Extra. I very much so intend to play it here in the near future because I love both of these games. I played through, like I said, I played through Cat Quest 1 in like February, and I played through the second one in like April. They were fun. I really enjoyed them. I think the second game also has co-op because you can play as either the cat or the dog. But yeah. All right, we're almost done here. Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk is great. I feel like if you know what coffee, everybody here probably already knows what Coffee Talk is. It's a visual novel basically where you run a coffee shop in Seattle, which is cool. And then it has the unique aspect of it being a world where humans live in tandem with like mythical creatures from like fantasy realms, like elves and orcs and whatever else. And it does a really good job of just taking those worlds and combining them and making very deep character. Like it's a great character study, and does a very good job of like making you feel for these people and their struggles as you get to know them. And I've only played the first one so far. I've heard the second one's just as good, if not better. And you're doing all this while also making coffee for people. Great game, very chill. There's a strong chance you might even fall asleep while playing it because it's so chill and the music's so good. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I intend to play Coffee Talk 2 probably in the beginning part of this year, and I'm looking forward to Coffee Talk Tokyo and when it comes out in the near future too. All right, last and certainly least, Bubsy Paws of Fury. If you either know who Bubsy is or you don't, which I guess that can be said about anything, but Bubsy is a animal mascot from the PS1 era. No, he was on Super Nintendo and Sega, and then I think those games were probably just okay. But then it's pretty well known for being one of the worst 3D platformers of all time. Bubsy 3D, like everybody basically knows that game apparently sucks. I've never played it, but apparently it's terrible. And this game, I walked into a GameStop and it was like $10, and I think they're doing a buy two get one free, so it was cheap. And it had like an art book in there and a CD, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Like you don't see all that stuff. I was like, I'll give it a try. This game specifically is an endless runner, so it's not even like a platformer or anything. And man, this game is just totally mediocre. Like endless runners on their own are already not like a genre I'm drawn to because I like platformers because I like to do most of the work myself. They take away all of it other than the jumping and dodging, or like jumping and ducking basically. And yeah, it's just not very fun, and it's too long, and the characters are extremely annoying, and they basically just make a bunch of jokes like they still think that it's the 90s, which could be well done in certain cases, but it's not here. Yeah, it's kind of a lame game to end it on, but it's definitely there in my least favorite games that I played in 2025. So yeah, there you have it. This is my list of games that I played and mostly beat in 2025. There's a few things I may change in this list, like Dark Alliance. My fun factor with this game, as far as like playing through it with a friend and like playing through it with new people that I met online, like almost pushes it up to the B tier. But the overall gameplay of this game and the fact that now if I wanted to play it, I can't even play it with friends, definitely makes it a D tier game. And a couple other things, like the Cat Quest games could almost be A tier. Like I really enjoyed them. And certain games on here, as I play them again in the future, I might feel a little bit differently about them. But I think overall, I'm pretty happy with this ranking list. If you've learned anything from this list, it's that you should really play Abiotic Factor and the Suikoden games. And if you haven't yet, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You should. So, all right. So that's 2025. if I feel like anybody actually watches this or cared about this video, I might do it again in 2026. But for the most part, I try to just like log the games I beat on like Instagram and stories. And I got really lazy in 2025 and stopped doing that about halfway through the year. So I thought this would be kind of a fun way to recap that. 33 games total when you count both Suikoden 1 and 2. And I may have even forgot a few things by not logging it. Some things probably got lost in the shuffle there, but that means that I probably didn't care that much. So they don't need to be talked about. All right. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close this up. But thank you for watching. If I don't know how long this recording's been, I don't see anything that says it on my screen. But if you're still here, much appreciated. Try to, if you can, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. And if you enjoy listening to me ramble, there is a podcast, the X-Button Gaming Podcast. You can find it here on YouTube or anywhere where you listen to podcasts, where I talk to friends, both new and old, about everything video game, basically. And we have a lot of fun. So definitely check it out if you're interested. And I do hope that 2026, I do a little bit more content when it comes to both video and staying on top of the podcast, because I struggled in 2025. Yeah, once again, we're going to close it off here. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.